Welcome to the Motherhood Alliance podcast, the podcast dedicated to empowering moms and families on their health and wellness journey. I'm Brittany Suttner.
And I'm Andrea Rinkus. Together, we're here to explore holistic approaches that go beyond conventional medicine.
Each week, we dive into topics that matter most to you. Everything from nutrition and mental health to alternative therapies and natural living.
And whether you're a new mom navigating the early stages of parenthood or a seasoned pro looking for new ways to support your family's well-being, you're in the right place.
Even better, all of our guests are local small business owners who you can actually talk to and work with. You can learn more about today's guest and connect with hundreds of other health and wellness professionals through our informative and easy-to-use directory at motherhoodalliance.com.
Before we get started, keep in mind that this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for personal healthcare advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes based on the podcast content.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Are you ready to help your family thrive? Let's get started. Hi, we are Britt and Drea from motherhoodalliance.com, and we are excited to welcome you to a 4-episode series with Dr. Abbie Goodman and Dr. Natalie Meyerhofer, the fun 2-woman team at Inspire Family Chiropractic in Appleton, Wisconsin. Before we jump into today's episode, we wanted to share a little bit about each of them. Dr. Abbie grew up in Appleton, attended UW-Eau Claire for her undergraduate degree, and then went on to complete her schooling at Northwestern Health Sciences for chiropractic. In 2017, she ventured into business ownership and opened the doors to Inspire Family Chiropractic. While she loves providing chiropractic care for the entire family, she has focused trainings, certifications, and passions for the prenatal and pediatric populations. Dr. Abbie loves spending time in the yellow sunshine, enjoying yummy food and coffee, camping, hiking, traveling, and spending time with her husband and 2 young kids. Dr. Natalie grew up in Iola, Wisconsin, and now lives in Kaukauna with her husband and 1-year-old son. Because her mom was a chiropractor, Natalie was blessed to be able to witness the miracles of chiropractic from a young age. Dr. Natalie attended UW-La Crosse for her undergraduate degree before heading to Minnesota to finish chiropractic school, and during her schooling, she discovered a passion for prenatal, pediatric, and family wellness chiropractic. In 2021, Natalie lost her mom to ALS, and now she has found the best way to remember and honor her is to provide the same care and dedication that she showed her patients every day. These 2 ladies are a breath of fresh air and literally radiate sunshine themselves, which is why we know you're not only going to find these 4 episodes with Abbie and Natalie educational, but also incredibly fun to listen to. It's time to turn up your volume and let's get started with today's conversation. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are excited to welcome Dr. Abbie and Dr. Natalie from Inspire Chiropractic. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Hello.
We're really excited to have you here. So we always love to start out with a fun fact as we welcome new guests onto the podcast. And we have 2 of you here, which means we get 2 fun facts, which is super fun. So let's start with you, Dr. Abbie. You love to sing.
I do.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, have you been doing that your whole life? Are you still able to do that? Like with the busyness of owning a business and being a mom? Tell us about your experiences.
Yeah. I started, I don't know, my parents would say as soon as I could talk because I always have loved singing. So it's just kind of been part of my growing up. I was a part of choirs and different community theaters all growing up. And it was always part of our family life too. So, a lot of people are familiar in our community with Christmas Stars. It's a community theater group that shows a Christmas presentation every year. And I did it ever since I was 4 years old growing up. And then I took a break during high school and then came back after chiropractic college. So it's been a big part of our upbringing. And I love singing with that. I also sang through school with choirs and things. But now I'm a part of our church choir and get to enjoy singing.
That's awesome. That reminds me of when Drea and I were growing up. And for those of you who are just tuning in for like the first time, Drea and I are sisters. But when we were growing up, our mom would always put us in a spring fling. So we would always sing or have like a little dance or something like this in the spring fling. We did not develop the singing talent that our grandma had.
Yeah.
Both of our grandmas actually.
Yeah.
So, some people probably plug their ears, but I'm very thankful for the experience of like getting up in front of people and like almost being forced to be comfortable with that.
For sure.
So,
yes. And you will never find me dancing. I mean, I will dance pretty fun at a wedding, but not on a stage.
We all dance funny at weddings.
Yeah, of course.
And Dr. Natalie, tell us a little bit about you, a fun fact about you.
So I grew up most of my childhood, all the way through high school, with 48 first cousins.
That's insane.
On one side,
like
my mom's
like
side.
in the same area. Like
most
where
of them
lived?
were in the same area. I want to say maybe like 3 of my aunts and uncles were still in Wisconsin, but like farther away. So like 2 hours, 3 hours away.
Well, that is fun though.
But it was so cool. So I went to like school with a lot of them too. And I feel like the last ones are finally just getting through high school. So now I'm like, I don't know anyone back in my hometown because my entire family is grown up now.
But everyone's gone.
Yeah, I should count the numbers with like second cousins now because I don't even know what that looks like. It's probably a lot.
You'd be counting for a while.
I would be counting for a while. Yeah.
Which,
amazing.
Another hilarious thing about us is that we have 3 cousins, and our first one was born when I was 21, and Drea's older than me. So we grew up with no cousins.
Yeah.
At all, on
None.
both
Yeah.
sides. Both sides.
And it's just the 2 of us. So, yeah.
That's crazy. See, I
Totally
couldn't even
different.
imagine that. And I want to give it to like my family, but I'm one of 4. So I'm like not one of 13.
Yeah.
How do I get my siblings to all have 10 kids?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah, our Christmases looked very
Right?
different growing up. That is so fun. Thank you for sharing those. We're gonna talk a lot in this episode about the juggling act of like being a working mom. And so both of you are doing that beautifully. And we were hoping that you could share some tips and tricks with some of our listeners who are also trying to balance pursuing a passion while also taking care of their family. But I think it'd be fun to start out with just kind of your story a little bit. So let's start back with you, Abbie, on how did you find chiropractic as a career?
I actually was in my undergrad going for athletic training, and a chiropractor came and spoke to our class about how he is a chiropractor, but then balances his athletic training history with it. And I was drawn to it. I like knew right away. So the funny joke in my family is that I called my mom right after that class and I was like, Mom, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. And she said, I thought you already knew, because we were like so set on athletic training.
Sure.
And it was also funny because she actually worked at a chiropractic clinic, and I just never thought of
You
it
just
before
didn't really
that
think
chiropractor.
about it.
Yeah. So that's why I carried on. And then I thought I was going for sports chiro like the whole time through schooling in the beginning. And then slowly that evolved to realizing that there was a lot more to chiropractic than just the sports world. So then I kind of transitioned into more of a family focused idea moving forward. And then it's been cool to watch the practice of Inspire kind of grow and develop, because as a mom, like when I first got pregnant, I was like, oh, I want a big focus on prenatal, and then transitioned into being a mom. And it's like, oh, now I really want to focus on those young moms and the postpartum and the babies and everything. And it just keeps transitioning as my kids keep getting bigger too.
Mhm.
So
So
Yeah,
we
we've
can relate to
definitely-
that for sure.
We've experienced that with our personal training side as well.
Yeah.
How just you have to morph and change with your own interests and your own seasons of life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Natalie?
My mom was a chiropractor, so I feel like I grew up with it my entire life. I'm sure I was adjusted from being like hours old. I'm sure she adjusted me right after birth. But what I remember the most was she literally had a table in our house. So we would get anytime we would fall or play sports or anything, she's like, hop on the table.
Nice.
She adjusted.
Yeah.
That, right? Like that was just like the thing that we did. So I feel like growing up with it, I didn't even question anything else. Like people always ask me, they're like, how did you know you wanted to be it? Or like you'd never thought of a different career. And I was like, not once did I ever think, which is crazy. I'm like, did I explore all my options? Did I do myself a disservice? But I'm like, no,
I think
I'm in the
you're
right
good.
place.
You
I think
like
we're
what you're
okay,
doing.
right?
Yeah.
You're really good at what
Yeah.
you do. So yeah.
Thank you.
How did you two connect? So you work together at Inspire now, and how did you originally meet?
Abbie was pregnant.
I was pregnant and I was in hardcore search for someone to help cover our practice while I was on maternity leave with Jordan, my youngest. So there was this other chiropractor in town that I kept watching her social media, and I'm like, gosh, I hope Natalie will want to come. So yeah, I contacted her. We met at a coffee shop, and she's like, heck yes, I'll join and come and help cover for you. So
And that's it.
well,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
She was just amazing. Like we had 2 staff members at the time, and they both were like, we need her. She's so good. The patients are loving her. And she's just been great. So we didn't let her leave.
Yeah.
They forced me to stay, so here I am.
Twist my
I had no
arm.
choice, right?
We'll keep what those threats looked like off the air, I guess. But, so with the work-life balance, when you guys were originally choosing to become chiropractors, that takes a lot of schooling. I mean, that's like really mentally preparing yourself that I am going to be a career woman, right? Because you want to serve others in this health and wellness field. at the time when you were in school, did you have any thoughts about like, oh, someday when I have kids, how am I going to balance this? Or did you like not even have that on your radar at the time when you just loved chiropractic? Like, did you have it in your mind of how you would balance it in the future at all?
You did probably more than I with growing up.
I think half the reason I chose to keep pursuing chiropractic was because of the work-life balance, because I had seen that with other people and other moms. I saw my own mom do it. I remember she was an associate for a while before she had her own practice, and I have vivid memories of going with her to the practice and hanging out in like the treatment room. So there's a big exercise ball in there and like all this weird stuff. And I literally remember taking naps too. There's a pack and play set up in the middle there.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of my first memories. It's really weird. So I saw that and I was like, yeah, like if they can do that, I know when I become a mom, because becoming a mom was like my goal, right? Like after my career, I was like, no, but I want to be a mom more than any of that. I was like, oh, but I can do both. And that was so cool. So that's why I was like, yep, chiropractic.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. And I think kind of when I started transitioning into more of thinking of family focus, that's when I was like, oh yeah, will this be able to be a balance? Because I didn't have that experience growing up of watching it. And, but I always knew I wanted also to be a mom. And it kind of just came as I went. It was more of like for me, an energy flow of, okay, it's going to happen because I know I want to be a mom and I want to work as a chiropractor. It's just going to come together.
And
it
make it
truly
work.
did. Yeah.
Well, but then you also decided to take it one step further, Abbie, and start your own business, which brings on a lot of administrative work, having social media, like having to grow your own practice. It brings on a lot of extra things.
True.
Too. So how do you balance that now?
Yeah. Now, I mean, a team. It's all about the team because we can help each other. We can delegate tasks and get everything that needs to get done. But truly what's unique with our practice is we do get to bring our kids with us. Not every day, but they get to come and hang out, meet our patients. Grandma Kathy is who's my mom, is one of our front office staff, and she helps just make sure my kids specifically are, being able to thrive and enjoy their day, but then also get some mom time, get some patient time, all of it. And then our other office staff, Lisa, helps kind of keep the same thing, keeps all of our kids, hers included, and Natalie's, and just keep everything rolling the way it needs to be. So it's a big balance because we've got a great team in place, but to find those gaps in our day, especially when the kids aren't there, to try to get more of the busy work done so that when they are at the practice, we can kind of do that dual hat of mom and doctor at the same time.
What do you feel like your biggest challenge is working and being a mom and obviously running a household and like all of that?
For me, it's time. Time is always just, it's always ticking, and it can be stressful if you let it really sink in and take over. But it's just making sure that I keep reminding myself, like, there is always a tomorrow. And if it's a day, especially that my kids are at the office, they're there like half time. I keep reminding myself I have a day when they're not there, and try to reroute my brain that I get to be here with my kids and be a mom and a doctor. And yeah.
I do feel like for business owners, we tend to think like something has to get done right away or whatever. And so I like that you have that mindset of that I can delay this until I have more time.
Yeah. And if it's a situation that has to be taken care of, then that's when you really, really rely on your team.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Natalie? What's your biggest challenge?
I think for me personally, it's asking for help. Like I loved bringing Carson in, but there were some days, and where he would just be not having it, right? Sure. Like he wanted mom. Mm-hmm. And even if he was close to me, like when I was treating patients, he was like, no, that's not good enough. Like I need you to be holding me.
That's hard.
And Lisa and Kathy are amazing. Like they help out as much as they can. But it was always like asking other people for help too. Like I always felt that guilt of like my mother-in-law or even my husband, because he works from home. So he's got this flexibility too, being like, I want to do all of this and balance all of it, but like maybe Carson needs to go home for a couple of hours to do all of it. And I was like, I can't do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like the worst thing to feel.
Do you feel like it's gotten easier the older he gets? Like the longer you are a mom, the easier it's become to ask for help?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think people want to help too. It's just if you don't ask, they're never going to know. And that's the hard part, is that's got to come from me. But yeah, Carson, he's just becoming more independent too. So as they get older, then they can do more things and they don't need mom as much all the time. They're not as dependent on us too. Mm-hmm.
For sure. Now, what do you guys do for your own like self-care? Because first of all, self-care is like this huge buzzword in the wellness industry. And that can mean something different for everybody. It doesn't have to mean bubble baths and massages every week, right? But it's just like making sure that you're taking care of your own body and your own mind and your own stress levels. So how do you guys manage that? Because when you have workloads, especially when you own a business and you have the back end stuff, you're trying to be a good mom, you're trying to be a good wife, you're trying to keep your house clean, you're trying to have people over and have friends, you're trying to be involved in church, like all the things.
That's a lot.
I know
It is a lot. Just saying it out loud, right?
Yeah.
We do it.
Right.
And they're all like beautiful things, but it's a lot to manage and a lot of weight to have on our shoulders as women. So what do you do to avoid burnout?
So I'm sure we'll talk about this in more episodes, but getting adjusted.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? Chiropractors. So helping lower the stress that way. But I think between the two of us, we also have one full day a week that we take off. Like it's just for family time, right? Yep. It's just for the kids.
It's mama day.
And it's so nice to have like a full day to be able to do that. Because then you don't have to think about anything else.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to think about the business. It's a recharge and it's amazing like what even just one day can do for that.
Yeah. And we've even talked between the two of us, like as our practice continues to grow and our kids continue to grow, we still feel like that is such a strong point that we need to continue to have in our schedule, because it is, even if the kids are off at school, it's still a recharge for our own self. But then you also get that special time after school where we're typically in the office that we can have with those kiddos. So that is a big piece of our self-care.
And I think being a 2-person team is so helpful because there's 2 of us, right? So if Abbie wants a certain day off, there's someone else to cover for it. So when you talk about like being available for patients and all of that, like we have the availability. Right. That's the beauty of 2 people too.
Yeah. So basically like, surrounding yourself with a team and, having somebody else to help. I mean, we can relate to being a team. We've done that for over 10 years. And I know that it can get really difficult sometimes. I can't imagine being by myself doing a lot of the things that we're doing too. So it's really nice that you have that for sure.
Yeah. And just expanding on that, Dre and I have talked a lot about, because like she said, we've had our own personal training business together for 10 years. And then now with Motherhood Alliance, we're doing that together as well. And there are days that I just want to quit it all.
Yeah.
It's just like life just becomes so much. And I'm like, I just want to sit at home with my kids and like have nothing else on my brain. But, and then she's like, you can't quit. It's like this marriage between us,
it is.
Where when I'm down, she's up. And when she's down, I'm up. And so I think this point of just, even if you're in a career where it's not, that doesn't apply to you, just still having somebody who can hold you accountable and can be your shoulder to lean on and listen to you in those low points and help bring you back up. Whether it's friends that you've had since high school or connecting with a church group and just having women in your side, or even just having a really supportive spouse, but just making sure that you have somebody that can like uplift you during those hard times, because we all go through them.
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I would also say too, like taking those rest days and those brain breaks, like you guys say, I take a day off. Well, Britt and I might be like, I'm taking the day off, but as entrepreneurs and business owners, your brain is always thinking about your to-do list.
Sure.
And so I know for us, I've done it. She's done it too, where I might Slack something to her or type something or text her. And she'd be like, get off your phone, go read a book or go do something else because this is not what you're doing right now. Okay, fine. So it's like having that accountability, like Britt said, but also those rest days and just being intentional, right?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, when you were saying like, even as a single practitioner, if you don't have that within your own practice career, the fact that you guys built this Motherhood Alliance too, like a lot of our members in our group are single practitioners and they now have this awesome group that you guys created to be able to lean on and talk and get pointers from other
and to know that they're not alone in the trenches. I mean, I feel like that's just a huge part of this work-life balance when you are a woman who's trying to do both, pursue a passion that God has put on your heart, but also be a really good parent, is that you want to be able to do both well, right? But yeah, just to have people that can uplift you and you can lean on and just you can feel validated that what you're feeling is okay and it's normal and you're going to get through it. Yeah. Is there anything that you guys feel like, your kids are pretty young right now. Natalie, yours is 15 months?
15 months, yeah.
Okay. And And Abbie, how old are your kids right now?
2 and 4. 4.5 today, actually.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I hope you have a big celebration plan because those half birthdays are a big
deal. Well, it's her first, she's in 4K, so it's her first time in school experience. And with a summer birthday, it's a big deal. She's 4.5, right? Yeah. So it was a fun day this morning. Yeah.
Is there anything let's just say that there's a woman listening or even a guy listening that struggles with work-life balance and say they're pregnant for the first time and they're starting to anticipate, okay, I love my career. I have this baby coming. Obviously, chiropractic is going to play a huge role in helping them to stay healthy. But do you have any advice for somebody who's kind of just entering the season of trying to balance both?
Gosh. I mean, after listening to you talk about like self-care and one of your hardest points with coming into it was asking for help. That's fresh on my brain, that I think that don't be afraid to ask for help because you have a support system. And if you don't, like seek that out. Because
seek it out.
Find your village.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if it's not family, like friends, right? Or coworkers or whoever it is, like people are so willing to help.
Connect with like a church or with with people who have your best interests.
there are so many good people.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you have to find those people.
This
for
is
yourself.
the first time in a long time our society is like, we're trying to do everything. Like for so many generations, like women had, right? Their grandmas and their aunts and their cousins and everyone was helping. And now we're like, we all feel alone.
Yeah.
And we're just isolated.
So isolated. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially as a new person entering that motherhood, like there's just so many questions, right? I mean, that's what the whole 9 months lead up of baby coming is like, okay, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? I could read on this. And you're just bombarded with all this new information. And what we talked a lot about with our moms in our practice is like, if that's your thing, like if you're seeking that information, you go for it because there's tons out there. But if it's too much for you, like that's where you really can lean on your support group, because ask them about their experiences and weighing your different options of all the things you can do with these new babies. Yeah.
They're likely to have the same kind of values as you and things like that. So even just having a few ideas or options to start with is better than having a bajillion, right? That's great advice. Yeah,
definitely. And we're going to be diving into a little bit more of the chiropractic side in probably our last episode with these ladies, where we're going to be talking about prenatal, postpartum, specifically even pediatric chiropractic. And we're going to give some tips in there on, if you are in that season of life, how to better manage that within your own home, as well as obviously your wellness journey. Thank you, ladies, so much for just being transparent. And, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are hardships when it comes to being a working mom. And I think that everything that you shared is just so relatable, and we just appreciate you as friends and as humans and as doctors of chiropractic. But you're also just, putting one foot in front of the other and just taking it day by day as well. If somebody would like to contact you, what is the best way to get a hold of you? Do you have social media accounts? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you can find us on our socials. Both Instagram and Facebook are pretty active, so they can send us any kind of messaging through there. We also have like online booking if they're actually looking to book or find more information through our website, and then also our phone.
What is your
website? On our phones. So InspireFamilyChiropractic.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be diving into the nervous system and stress and taking a little bit deeper dive on if you are feeling stressed out about balancing work and life, or just anything in life in general, how these ladies can help you. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider leaving a rating or review or sharing it directly with a friend who could benefit from the information? We know that you're a busy mom or caregiver, and our goal is to make your life easier by bringing tips and tricks directly from experts into your earbuds. By sharing this episode with someone you love, you can play a critical role in helping to make their life easier as well. We appreciate your time, and thank you for being a part of the Motherhood Alliance family.